Hello, folks, and welcome to Paranormal Nation Radio. Not so normal. How you doing, Denise?
I'm doing great. Just a little tired, but great.
Oh, I know the feeling. I'm tired. It was a long weekend.
Yes, it was.
Got to see you guys, and then we took Monday off and went to the Lake of the Ozarks.
How was that?
That was a long day,
It's a long
and
drive down there from
yeah,
where
it
you live.
is, and everything. Got down there to the food show for Graves that was doing it. I got to meet the owner and his wife there. Super nice elderly people, very nice, polite. But we sampled food all day long. Oh man, I was stuffed. And I mean,
Anything new you guys are going to do at the restaurant?
yeah, we ordered a couple of new products to come in, and definitely a brand new tea coming in. We're getting rid of
Tea.
Lipton
Oh,
completely
I don't like
up there.
Lipton.
No, we're getting Red Diamond.
Red Diamond is better. At least they're not made by Pepsi.
Right, right.
And I boycott Pepsi.
Yep.
I also boycott Coke, but it is what it is. But
Right. Well, we use Pepsi products up there, and I always keep Coke on hand because it mixes with the drinks a lot better. So that's it. But yeah, we got a couple of great guests coming on tonight.
yeah, our second guest, she's going to be a little bit late, but that's okay.
That's all
Um,
right.
So we're still gonna have fun no matter what, and we'll make
That's
fun of her when she gets here.
that's right. Yeah, we bring the guests on. We got to go over something that we found out from time last time we talked. So if we want to, we'll bring Frank up now on the screen and everything, and introduce him.
For those of you who don't know, this is my friend Frank J. Bennett, author, uh, and probably was very close to being a neighbor of mine when I was growing up in Baltimore area. Uh, we met at a paranormal conference, and we've hit it off really well, and we've been friends ever since. And I figured you guys might like to see a different face besides mine and Ron's and Carl's.
And mine, yeah.
So we're bringing on Frank right now, and later on we're going to have Cheryl Ann Elliott Fletcher on in a little bit. So
Right.
I'm gonna keep you guys busy tonight.
That's right. How you doing, Frank?
Outstanding. So let me understand the calculus. Denise wanted to put in a different face, so she thought she'd go with this one.
Yeah.
Are you trying to make people run from the TV?
Well, we're watching the numbers right now, and they're going up
And
and
it's
down.
working.
So, hey, it works.
Nobody's walking out yet.
No, but I'm
So
glad Frank's on here with us tonight because before we get into a lot of talks, I got to go over something here. Frank, I know you're into the paranormal and all that, and you love to hear about validations, right?
It does boost my ego. Yes. I think
Okay.
about it before I go to bed at night.
well, this
Well,
is not your validation,
no,
okay?
this isn't
In this case,
yours.
this is not for you.
This is for all the listeners out here and everything that want to see, because we always talk about the gift that Denise has of being able to see spirits and talk to spirits, right? Saturday, we met up in Atchison, Kansas, and went out and had dinner. As soon as we met, was talking a little bit, Denise says, I've got something to give you. So she walked up and handed me this piece of paper with a name on it, a died date, and some more information on there. Okay? I'm going to
That's
go
my
through
crappy
this.
handwriting.
Right. And what she came up with, the lady that came to her was Cynthia Annie Linville Creekmore. Okay? Now, I'm going to bring some pictures up here. Let me get to my thing here. Okay.
The backstory about this, though, is Carl has a woman up there at the restaurant that he's manager of that is trying to come between him and his wife.
Yeah.
And some people, there is a woman in the restaurant, but she's not like that. At least she didn't feel like that to me when we were up there. And so one day, Carl's wife called me. She needed advice on how to deal with this spirit. Well, she needed advice on how to deal with Carl because he was being an asshole.
I was.
But only at the restaurant. At home, he calls her. He says, "When are you going to be here?" Things like that. Always worrying about her. All the stuff he's supposed to do. But once she got to the restaurant, he was not the Carl that we all know. He was a different Carl. And so there was a spirit that kept getting near him. And I told her, I said, "Here's what I'm seeing." And that's where this conversation came from, was from his wife being worried that something was wrong.
Right. And as we go, why I found out information about this was I showed it to my co-partner up at the restaurant, Christine, and she recognized the Creekmore name. It's in her family history. It's on her father's side. So she's got her ancestry on her phone. Went through her father's side. Cynthia Ann Linville Creekmore. Here is her research, right? Okay. She died in 1946. Look up here at the top, right there. Died 1946. Denise wrote down. Okay. It goes down through there and everything. She's buried at the McCrary Cemetery. Again, right there. McCrary Cemetery. Now, in this letter, it says that I remind Annie of her husband, Richard. Okay. Richard. He's buried in the McCrary Cemetery also, right? And stuff. But to prove it even further, look at this one. Okay. His spouse is Cynthia Ann Limble Creekmore. Okay. Now she said, "I resemble her husband." You can see a little photograph at the top there.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find a younger picture of me quick enough, but there's her husband.
The nose and
that's
the
a rather
eyes.
dashing looking individual.
Right. But that goes to show this was given to me Saturday. My partner at the restaurant got on her phone and looked up her ancestry, and we came up with the exact same information that Denise had told us. And to me, that is great validation.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't think she's going to come with you guys to the next restaurant. I think she's going to be staying at this restaurant.
Right.
Or this area. I think she's confined to this area, whether it's inside or outside the restaurant. It's that area.
Yeah, it's that area there. Her and her husband own some land right there close by, we found out.
Well, April will be praying for Elijah. Since he's a kid, I'm not going to make those remarks I would make if it was me. So hope this passes soon.
Right.
So
and
anyway,
how did this information come to you?
So the other night, it was real early on Saturday morning. I had a couple different spirits that came to me. And usually before we go to an event or go to a haunted location, sometimes stuff will come to me, tell me what we're going to have happen, what we're going to see, what we're going to hear, things like that. And so this one, I was focusing on Carl because I wanted to figure out who it was that was messing with him. Who was messing with him? Right. And so basically, I did a little bit of remote viewing into the restaurant, and this is what I saw was this other woman in this shirt dress, looking like, something somewhere between the 1930s and the 1950s, because those dresses are they're kind of nondescript, to be honest. Right. They have a collar on them, and the only difference is how wide the skirt is, back then. Because in the 50s, the skirts got really wide, and in the 20s and 30s, they were, more slim fitting, depending upon, and longer, so it kind of depended. But I kept seeing this lady in this shirt dress with these kind of like plaid, and I just started listening to her. And apparently she saw me remote viewing and decided to tell me some stuff. And that basically that Carl was her husband in her mind, and that he was the love of her life. And she felt like that she was allowed to get between him and his wife because he's the love of her life. So we basically talked, and she gave me some more information. And so it took me a little while to get there, but I got there. But that wasn't the only spirit that came to me. Another spirit came to me related to somebody who was at the Sally house that night. And because he had said that he didn't think that he'd ever had any attachments. And I told him that it's related to his sink. And he was like, he gave me this really strange look. But the spirit kept telling me F-E-L, F-E-L. And F-E is the compound for iron.
Right.
Cast iron sink.
Right.
He was related to the cast iron sink. It took me a little while to get there, but I got there. And he was shocked as anything. And then at the McIntyre Villa, I also got attacked. So some of the pictures that may be coming out of the event are going to be of my back. So you guys are the first to hear this.
So you got scratched again.
But we had fun with Sarah Lemos and Jessica Potter and Katie. And so it was... we had a really good time. We went to leave, and Sarah Lemos goes, "Don't leave. You can stay. You can stay." I'm like, "No." I said, "We were only supposed to be here till 10, and here it is almost midnight, And so we had a really good time at the
Hey,
event.
Cheryl, before you do anything you might regret, we can see you.
I know, it's okay. I'm cooking. It's all right.
She's making dinner for all of us.
Yeah, I am. I'm cooking.
Get
Fiesta chicken.
All right.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we get up there, it'll all be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
So everyone, this is Cheryl Ann Elliott Fletcher. If you've been on here before, you've seen her on here as well. And she's a friend of mine from up in Nebraska. Mm-hmm. And she's traveled all kinds of places to visit with me, as well as Frank has. So Cheryl Ann, what you missed out on was Carl was talking about some stuff that I gave him that he was able to validate as being true.
Yeah, good, okay.
So,
yeah.
Not that I'm that great of a medium, because I don't feel like I am, but just sometimes stuff comes to me and I got to share, just kind of like you. But I'm not going to walk up to that stranger in the grocery store and tell them. So, but yeah,
don't you love the ones that just can't contain themselves and absolutely have to tell you?
You have to. Yeah. The only time I do that is when I'm like in a grocery store or in a public environment, and I could read into somebody and see that they're very sick or something wrong with them medically speaking. Then I'll do it. Oh yeah, hands down.
Well, since we've got some people in here, one of the things that April, that you need to know about my paranormal show, the Paranormal Pride, it is no longer going to be viewed on or listened to on WBHM -db.com anymore. I am no longer affiliated with the network, and just so people know, it's what needs to happen. And I will be coming back with another show. The Paranormal Pride will be back. I just not sure exactly when yet. I kind of need a hiatus for me, because I'm working from 8 o'clock in the morning till midnight every day on work. The kids need grandma, well, the kids need mom and the grandkids need grandma. And I can't keep spreading myself like peanut butter on stuff. I'm just done. So
Well, let's not forget the other reason that on a good day, Denise Pridemore is running on 80%
Right.
on a good day.
Right.
Yeah.
so I'm exhausted. So I kind of just need a break. And when I will make an announcement on here as soon as I have an announcement to make. So since I'm on here every Tuesday, you'll just have to listen every Tuesday to find out when I'm making that announcement. So
That's
keep
right.
coming back. How's that for leading them on?
There
That's
you
right.
go.
So
I like it. I think it's good.
but it was a long run. You figure I went 7 years. And sometimes after 7 years, you get that 7-year itch, it's time to move on. But one of the things that I had told Carl is for the last 8 months, I haven't been altogether me. So we're going to find who the altogether me is again. And we're going to have a great time. So thank you guys who all have listened to me on WBHM-DB. Thank you so much. But I am not going anywhere. I will still be around.
But they can listen to your old shows where at.
They can listen to my old shows on Mixcloud. I've got to get a bunch of them uploaded. I was I was pushing everybody to the old website. So I will load everything I can up onto Mixcloud, and you just search Mixcloud, Denise Myers Pridemore, and you should be able to find it.
Right.
So
Let's not forget the fact that YouTube, which is one of my favorite places to go, has only a little over 1 billion videos on it. So please populate YouTube as you please.
well, a lot of what I may take some of those old shows and put them out there.
Put them out on
Let's
Twitter.
see what people think.
Yeah, you really should, because a lot of them, though, Denise, a lot of people probably haven't seen them all, and why not reintroduce it to everybody.
Yeah, and considering that basically all those would be just audio.
Yeah.
I mean, they can still listen. Maybe I can find some things to go with that audio. Some
Well,
things
the cool
that
thing
are
about
related to those shows.
I use YouTube to promote my appearances and blah blah shows I'm going to be at, and I get to also put up promotional images of other people who be at the event, but also things I want to express. If you ran any of your programs on YouTube, you could also splice in there samples of EVPs and evidence that may have been captured or gathered by your guests.
Yep. And I have some of that as well. So, like I said, I need time.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest problem here, was that I started running out of time. And there's only so many hours a day I can sleep and work and all this other crap. And something was going to give. And apparently it was my show that gave. And I'm sad that it happened, but I'm not. It's my own fault. You're never going to hear people come out and say they're going to blame someone else. I'm not blaming anybody. It's my fault. I let my life get out of control. And that's what people need to understand. When your life gets out of control, you need to take control of it back. And I feel that Kat helped me to take control. And that's what her job was as my friend. And
let me tell you something about Kat. For a woman with a severe case of potty mouth, she is one of the big drivers of this industry, and she's a real friend.
She is a real friend. And that's one of the things that, like I said, I can't blame. I have to take the blame for where I failed. So,
well, I wouldn't call it so much failure.
You know what that means?
I wouldn't call it so much a failure, Denise. It's just life happens.
Well, like I said, I'm taking the blame for something. So what's that mean? It means I'm not a liberal.
Well, no, you're accountability. You're taking accountability. Come on.
Good boy.
Good
boy.
But
I think Biden did say Trump did cause it to happen.
Well, those of us that share that birthday tend to cause shit to happen.
Right on.
So, but we're not going to talk about that anymore. We're going to
No.
move forward. And like I said, I wanted to make sure that especially April knew that I was no longer there. I'm not going to tell you guys not to go check out Fate Magazine Radio and Paranormal Experienced. And I never can remember Shelley's show. I'm not going to tell you not to go listen over there because that would be wrong. But if you like their shows, go listen, enjoy them, have a great time, please. And like I said, come back here every Tuesday until I make that announcement so that you'll know what I'm doing.
Right.
So smile and have a great time. That's all we can do.
Right.
So
what's our conversation going to be tonight?
Well, Frank wanted to talk about something that he saw today along the lines of UFOs and aliens. So go for it, Frank.
Did you always call me Carl?
No.
No.
Okay. You'd be surprised how many names I get called that aren't mine.
Well, what's funny is that last week Carl was called Jeff.
Easy, Cheryl. Easy.
Yes, last week it was funny as heck. Farrah kept calling Carl Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
And I didn't have the heart to tell her.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things you just let it happen and
Yeah.
just smile.
But
Hey,
it made for a good laugh later. So
Well, that's
anybody
just
go-
like going in the caves the other day, right? They're not made for people 6'3", right?
no.
Was in the bridal cave down there. So the lady doing the tours was calling my name. Duck, Carl. Duck, Carl. It echoes through that cave. And I mean, she was yelling, and I'm going, I got the point. I'm
Yeah, it's
ducking.
not like the caves in Parkville that are made for trucks to be driving through, are they?
Right. These
Yeah.
were walking through narrow ways to squeeze through. And,
Did you end up with EVPs that said Duck Carl?
well, I will eventually, probably.
You know, I've never been to the Bridal Cave. I know where it's at. And I
It's
know
beautiful.
Dara's been to Fantastic Caverns because it's not far from her
Mhm.
house.
Right.
But
It's got a wall in there that Ripley's came down to measure and verify. It's in a world record. And it's called the curtains, where all of it's layered down and layered down. They did
That's
an estimate on it and said they could cut out 1-inch squares out of it and give a piece to every person in the United States, and they'd still have enough on the wall.
I'll be darned.
and
Wow.
this is all stalactites and stalagmites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, and Dara says she's been to the Bridal Cave too.
Oh, it was
Where's
neat.
that at?
It's down near Branson.
No, It's
Or is that the
over-
one by Springfield?
no, it's the one in Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh, Lake of the Ozarks.
I'll be darned.
right.
Okay. Yeah.
I've been to Lake of the Ozarks, I don't know how many times. And I just know I see that sign everywhere. And like I said, I know where Fantastic Caverns is because you make a right before you get to Springfield to go there. And I know, isn't it beautiful?
I believe we've been in that. I don't recall the bridal thing though. I don't know why.
The last cavern I was in was Luray.
Mhm.
You know that one, Frank, don't you? Luray
I
Cavern.
do indeed. I also did a lot of caving down in Davis, West Virginia. Caving is a completely different experience. Scares the living bejeebers out of you.
The last time I did anything like that was in coal mines.
Wow.
My grandfather would take us down into the abandoned coal mines. Not safe.
Not safe.
For a
no.
city kid, it was great.
So what's the killed by
And dark,
alien?
and cold.
But
Now, if I may be
What's the
allowed-
alien?
I'm sorry. If I may be allowed to bring us back to point number 2,
Okay.
Mhm.
hearing people's names incorrectly. Let me move this a bit. On my wall over there is a picture of Demarest from Ghost Hunters International. He's a friend
Yeah.
of mine. We did one live event together some time back, and he wasn't quite hearing everybody right. I said, hey, I got to get an autograph photo with you or get a picture with you. And he just took one, signed it, and gave it to me. Didn't even look at it. Got it home, and it says, to Greg, great meeting you, blah, 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 blah.
What? Yeah, Greg.
In his defense, the evening before, we were getting nobody at the show in Louisville. So all of us, the gang from Mountain Monsters, the Mountain Gypsies, or wherever they are, and Rob and a whole bunch of other people, we just went out into the parking lot and sat on the benches and just chatted and drank and talked. And Rob was drinking up a storm, so he got maybe 2 hours sleep. He's sitting at his table the following morning, completely bloodshot, and he's barely with us, and that explains the faux pas. But Rob is a beautiful, beautiful guy. I love him to death.
He is a nice guy. I like Rob.
Very good man.
What I always liked about him was his honesty.
Yes, he is. He pays for it, but you can't have a better friend like that.
Is he allowed to come across the border yet?
Nah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Well, he's Canadian, so he needs to fly out of Canada and go down to Mexico and come that way.
Back to point number 1 that you made. Today, everybody across the country who are enthusiasts about UFOs got all wet in the pants area by the fact that the House was holding hearings on UFOs with the Defense Department.
Yep.
And I listened to the first hour of it, and I knew I was there before. And before anybody gets way too excited, you're basically looking at Project Blue Book all over again, which is essentially a catch-kill program to basically listen. Whenever you turn anything over to the government, it's going to move slower than molasses uphill, and it's never going to go anywhere, and it'll disappear. So this is basically their way of putting out little fires. So I wouldn't get too excited about this.
Okay. So was there anything good that came out of it?
No, the Department of Defense videos they showed were things already available online. They didn't show anything really new. As a matter of fact, one of the congressmen asked, do you have any footage that's not Department of Defense? Because we would like to see examples outside of your network or outside of your department. They had nothing. You and I, we all know people online have way better evidence than the Department of Defense has been showing.
Oh, yeah. Every bit of it.
Hey,
well,
Ron.
There's more of them. I mean, there's more people instead of their
Frank.
limited network of people.
Cheerland.
Yeah.
Yep. How you doing?
Yep, she's cooking dinner.
Oh,
Hey, how are you?
good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just cutting up avocados for my chicken fajita or my fiesta meal that I'm doing. How are you? Are you feeling okay?
Yeah.
He's just sweating. He just went walking.
Who's
Yeah.
there?
That's
Yuri.
why your heart's up a little. I said, that's
April?
why I can feel your heart rate. It's up a little.
Yeah, your heart rate's up a little.
Oh yeah.
Should be.
Should be.
Hey, I thought it was going pitter-patter because of Denise. That's the thing you say every
No,
time.
that was only on
I was
Saturday.
about to ask you guys when
Saturday.
did we move to Louisiana? Man, it's humid out.
Oh, Lord.
It is.
Oh, Lord.
It is.
So yeah, I felt it earlier today, and I was like, when I went out to the car to get the laundry, I was like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Well, just get ready. We got more storms
Was it
coming
really
in
hot
tonight.
down there today?
What?
Was it really hot today?
It's I don't know. What is it? About 80?
Yeah,
80.
about 81, 82. But the humidity was so high.
Yeah, the humidity. I mean, they're saying that we got a chance for rain for thunderstorms in about 2 hours.
It's really cloudy here and about ready to storm.
So
yeah.
But well, it figures that they didn't get anything new out of that. So
Be sure to tell Ron I said it was good to see him.
well, he'll be back.
I'll be back.
He's just got to go get his sweaty clothes off before he sits by me.
Good Lord, I guess.
And he won't do it back behind me. He'll do it in another room so we don't get X-rated.
I'll do it over there.
We'll just-
For you.
He'll do it over there where you guys can't see
But
him.
then you see
We'll
Denise
just do
puke,
NC
you probably won't see
17.
that.
We'll be all right.
So
I'll just save you Denise from puking.
we have a question from Barbara. She asks that smelling her dad's favorite aftershave. And I'm pretty sure Cheryl Ann's going to have an answer on this as well. But yes, I do believe that your dad is hanging around with you.
Absolutely.
So
Was it Old Spice? Was it an
that
old?
was what I was just thinking. Was it Old Spice?
Worse, Brute.
Oh
I
no, God, Brute is horrible.
Yeah,
Brute-
Brute was the worst.
Brute will keep mosquitoes
Axe is
away.
the worst.
Yeah,
Brute
she
is
asked me this the other
Yes, it
last
was.
night, and I said, "Come on the show and ask that question."
Yes, it was. What?
It was Old Spice.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that was the first thing I thought of, and I wasn't going to ask.
Me too. Obviously.
And Chad, I mean, if they're calling you the Candy Man, you better watch out.
That's
because,
right.
You know, so
Brute will keep mosquitoes away. I'm gonna start using it.
will it? I don't know.
I don't know if it will or not.
All I
Hey,
know
listen,
is,
if it doesn't keep them away, the mosquitoes will get high off of you. At least that.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
my
good.
alcohol content.
You're giving them
I-
something.
Just set
I
it out
remember
there. and
growing,
they'll drink out of
growing
it.
up with all of these old guys that I swear to you, they reeked of either
Yep.
Brute or Old Spice, and they were heavy smokers. And there was a part of you that just wondered if combustion was possible.
Oh, you said that they keep the mosquitoes away.
Anytime.
Does.
Oh, he says Axe
smells like
does.
butter.
Axe will keep them away.
Yeah,
Yeah, but-
Axe will.
I believe that.
That stuff gags me.
Yeah.
I can't breathe around that.
Ron's
Mm-mm.
dad, when we cleaned out all of his stuff from the nursing home, there was a thing of Brute in there that Ron's mom
He
was
didn't
using
even-
for
he
his
didn't even
dad.
use that.
Your mom used it on him after she would shave him, and she just
Now
brought
you
it
gotta
home.
use Old Spice.
And she goes, well, he was wearing this when they were dating. That's why she kept it, to remind her of the smell of. And so it's sad but true. So yeah, I swear back in the late 70s, early 80s, all the high school boys wore Brute.
Oh yeah. It was
Well,
Yeah.
that would have been you. That would have been you. You'd have been one of those.
I
high
went
school
the whole
boys.
gamut. My dad liked Old Spice, so I started out as a young teenager with Old Spice, made a complete fool of myself. The boys around me were all using Brute, so I segued into Brute, and then there's a knockoff deodorants you get into. What was the one that was really dry? Menins or something. I forgot what it was. It was a really dry deodorant stick that you put on. I forgot what it was called. But yeah, you kind of like evolve with it, and dear God, I hope I'm not going near that stuff ever again. I was reading an article a few weeks ago, about a month ago, online about the detergents that they put in the shampoos, and what was really funny to me is that they're putting a heavy amount of detergents in these body washes. And dudes don't realize that they're scrubbing their private areas with detergent.
Oh,
Right.
You see. So if there's an early departure, blame it on the chemicals. But dudes don't realize that you don't really have to go to harsh chemicals to accomplish the goal there. I mean, heck, a nice little trip down the creek once in a while would be nice for a lot of us who have to smell you.
I was gonna say, yeah, Cheryl will do it. Cheryl Ann's phone was on its last leg, so it quite possibly died.
Right.
So she didn't leave of her own accord.
No, she'll be back
will be
on.
back. So, and Gary, I hope the wood at the cemetery doesn't get burnt up this time either.
Right.
So
The guy has the timber around us decided to burn the underbrush and burn our wood pile that we use when we go camping out at the cemetery.
I can't believe it all burnt up.
Well, yeah, it was dry.
Mm.
We think he started it right there.
Why not? What a a-hole.
Oh, he is. He is. The game wardens hadn't caught him yet, so.
So
what can I say?
bringing it back to the original point, let's not, if anybody's got a UFO comment to throw in here, fantastic, but I wouldn't get excited by today. Been watching this stop-start for decades, and it's another start-stop.
Yeah. It's just a distraction being used by the White House to distract us from what's really going on. But if nothing else, we saw some other person's face today doing all the Biden bull crap at the press. So
Exactly, and there's more pressing issues in the world. We're talking about something they can't control anyways, even if they tried.
well, yeah, I mean we're up to 409 in gas in Lewisburg today. I've never seen
$4.59 down the street.
I've never seen it over $4 here in my area.
409 up here today.
And that's in Missouri. Usually Missouri gas is cheaper than Kansas
Right.
because of tax. So
Well,
I don't
going
know.
down to the Ozarks there Sunday, we seen the highest I seen was 423.
The highest we paid going out to Vegas was 460 something and 469. And we made sure that we got gas in Arizona before we got into Nevada so that we didn't have to get gas the whole time we were there.
Right.
So
Pretty bad when you got to get gas in one state to make it to another state.
Well, I mean, basically
Yeah.
we went up. So from Kingman, we went up to Vegas, Vegas back to Kingman and back out. So, you know, we still had to get gas when we got back to Kingman, but it was, you know, we don't drive that much. I mean, that's talking about a 2,200 mile or 2,200 or 22-hour drive. And I'm saying, hey, we don't drive that much. No, once we get to Vegas, we drive from the hotel to our daughters, to a restaurant, to our daughters, to the hotel. I mean, that's pretty much it. We kind of triangulate all day long. So we can get to Vegas and not drive, but we drive the whole way there. So
yeah, but
Right.
if you don't drive, you're going to be part of the cattle stampede of, you know, the endless herds of people I see on both sides of the street trying to slowly move from store to store to store and
No,
cross
you
the
don't-
street safely. You know.
what you don't get is I don't go to the strip.
Oh,
I
you're
haven't
off
been to
script.
the strip in
Mm-hmm.
shoot. I probably haven't been to the strip. Let's see, when did I buy those shoes? Probably 3 years. I probably haven't been to the strip in 3 years. So that's why I said I don't stay in the casino, in those casino hotels, except for that one that's off the strip that we stay in. And this last time they were supposed to be doing construction in there, and lo and behold, they didn't. I ended up getting ripped off and had to spend $100 a night at a hotel I didn't want to stay in.
Holy frickin' fudge.
Yeah, and that was a Baymont Inn. No,
Oh my
Baymont
goodness.
Inn is worth $100 a night, not a one.
No.
No, but
So-
let me tell you, it's not a plug. It's just a sad example. Simple is smarter than anything else. Is that the first time I went to Vegas back in December for that disastrous pure Unity X, just down the street from the MGM Grand, half a block down. I paid less than $80 a night.
Yep.
Over the weekend, and I had direct access to everything. I could have walked to the venue if I wanted to for the event.
This was
And-
that travel lodge I told you to stay in?
It's the one. It's the only one I know of right off the. No, there's two of them right off the main boulevard. One in right near the MGM Grand, and one way up north, past the stratosphere thingy.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I
that's the
stayed at the
travel
one
lodge.
close to the MGM Grand, and
Right.
I had no problems whatsoever at that motel. None at all. I had to go out and get my food everywhere because you couldn't afford anything close to the strip, but I had no other problems otherwise. It was really nice
Yeah.
to stay there.
Yeah. Like I said, I liked where that one was located at. It was easy
Mhm.
walk to almost anything you want. I mean, you could walk all the way down to the fountains and even down to the fire show, which the fire show is limited now. That's going to be gone here real
Yeah.
soon. The Mirage is going to be gone. So,
The
and
Mirage
Lacey
is
just
gonna be gone.
moved. So our daughter
Mhm.
Lacey, she just moved. She's not far from the strip now. She sent a picture of her view. Oh, it's beautiful. So, she's just let's see. I would go. It runs north and south, so she's going to be east of the MGM. So over closer to Paradise Road.
Right, right.
So
Well, that was
it's sad.
that was my wife's first time in Vegas, and she just ate it up. She loved it, with the exception of the problems we were having with the hotels, the big ones.
Yeah. Those lovely resort fees.
The hidden fees and blah blah blah, and it, you know what they should have, they're missing an opportunity. They should plant a whole bunch of chairs right on surrounding the main lobby where people come in, and charge people admission just to watch the fighting that goes on between the arriving guests and the people behind the counter, because they all thought, well, nobody told me I had to pay that. Where was that at? Oh, it's right here in your terms and conditions. And
Right.
people losing their
you,
minds.
If you book through booking.com or hotels.com, it's still there. You can still see it. That's how I found out about them when we stayed at, we call this hotel the Slimy Sevens. Okay. We call it the Slimy Sevens. It is actually the Silver Sevens. It's owned by the same people that own the casino in St. Joseph, Missouri.
Oh, really?
It's owned by
Frontier.
them. It's owned by Terribles.
Yeah.
And they should have just left it as Terrible. I mean, because it was fitting, but it used to be Terribles, and they changed it to Silver Sevens. And so we called it the Slimy Sevens. And we stayed there, and you could walk from the casino up to where our rooms were without going through a locked door, without going past security, anything like that. It was one of the most unsafe places to have your children, because Leah was still young at the time. She was like 15.
Hey, Ron.
We stayed there 3 days.
I'm back.
And then,
Which one is this?
huh?
What you talking about?
Slimy Sevens. We stayed there
Oh.
3 days, and then we transferred to the Mandalay Bay because our daughter's wedding was in the Mandalay Bay. Okay,
So
we went from a resort fee of $8 a day at the Slimy Sevens to a $35 resort fee at the Mandalay Bay. Then
Wow.
it's now It's $49 now for the Mandalay Bay. And our
Oh, you
room
pay
was
all
also-
these extra fees, whether the pool is open or the gym is open or not.
Right.
If they
And
got floor they're replacing on the hotel, you're still paying the fees.
Right.
Oh, I know. And that was one of the things that we found out. And so when we left the Mandalay Bay, that's how we found the Silverton, where we stay, the closest hotel to our daughters. And at that time, the resort fees there were only $15. They're only $20 now. But, if you're getting your room for free, do you care what your resort fee is? You don't, because you don't pay the resort fee if they comp your room. So we usually get 3 days free so if I'm only paying that $20 for one night of the we stay 4 nights, we only pay for 1 day, I don't care. But that's the thing. I
Are
gamble
those state
enough.
charges or hotel charges is a very good question.
It's the whole thing. Oh, the hotel, the resort fees,
Yeah,
it's a
the state
value
charge.
added tax. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
The hotel, it's
The
free money.
hotel.
It's value added tax is what they call it.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
it goes nowhere. But they do have to pay tax on it, on the earnings that they make. Why do
Yeah.
you think I have stock in MGM? They're making money hand over fist. They don't even have to do anything. All you got to do is check in.
Wow.
So
Mm-hmm.
it sucks, but it is what it is. And almost any hotel that is a resort has that, whether it's Vegas, Atlantic City, Biloxi, New Orleans. So
There's Coco.
they all,
But how are people affording this with these gas prices?
they probably
I
I
won't.
don't know.
Oh, and
That's
they also
why-
charge you to park too. That's the other fee that people don't realize. Even though you're paying that resort fee, you're still having to pay to park. So, yeah, just think. Remember, let's see, Howard's getting married, and some of the people are one of the ladies. She said that she's flying down to Tucson and then driving to Louisiana
Yeah.
because it was going to be $1,500 round trip for an
Mhm.
airplane ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's from California to New Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's bull crap.
It is.
So I don't know. It's ridiculous. Luckily, we fly everywhere.
Can I talk about the shooting in Buffalo
Sure.
real quick?
Go
It
ahead.
made me
Go
remember
right ahead.
something.
Go right ahead.
Is that let's not make it more complicated than it is. But before it became fashionable for kids to get guns and go to schools and shoot up people, term growing up we lived with called going postal. The school told workers at our U.S. when they want to retire up in a fashionable way and just start shooting up everybody. Nothing's changed. We just have different actors and different tools to play with. So it's kind of always been with us, you see. And it happens all over the world with different toys to play with. So it has something to do with a mental condition. Racism is not as big a part of it as you think. But you see, when I saw this on the news, you see, we used to live and work around Buffalo. I was a New Yorker for 8 years, and I worked demolition in Buffalo. And the area that this took place in, I remember because some of the guys I worked with live in that area. So I looked very carefully to make sure that they weren't on the list, you see. And I remember these guys, they were, you got to understand, I was kind of like an independent contractor employee. I had a specialized field. They would send me off to go work by myself because that I was a contractor in my field. And they would let these guys, they were about anywhere from 6 to 12 black gentlemen, very nice men, move things around, all that. They would be assigned to me. What the management didn't know is that we would take a lot of our time, and I'm talking 6 to 12 black men and just me, the one little white guy. We would sit around for about an hour or so each day and just talk about scripture. Good men. And they ate it up. We felt good. We even prayed together. We had a good time. And we did work. We got it done. Nobody ever knew we did this. And something else the management also didn't know, because the management would like to take people like this who are not white and give them the crap jobs, okay? The stuff you would usually have a donkey do.
Right.
And then they assign them to me because they figured with my output, there's a lot of crap going on with Frank. And truth is, they didn't have to work that hard. We had our game together. But you see, I would also take time to teach these men how to use the machinery. You know, the dozers, the loaders, the skid steers, the lull loaders and excavators. They wouldn't let these boys in those machines. And I would sneak them into the machines when I was using them and teach them how to work them. Because the day was going to come when an operator wouldn't show up on a job, and they're going to look around for somebody who can operate that machine. And one of them's going to be able to say, I can do it. And he'll climb in it, let them use it, and then maybe they'll let them do it more often. That was the only way to get them ahead. But when the Buffalo shooting broke out, you immediately took me back to that. Because one of the things we used to talk about, believe it or not, is how we used to get around in this country. Because when you used to be able to step on a train in Baltimore and about, 6 hours later end up in Miami. Can't do that no more. Now it takes you a full day. And you pay
if you're lucky.
10 times.
Yeah, it does. I mean,
That's a hateful thing, and we refuse to use it anymore.
And Chad says 20 people were also shot in Milwaukee at an NBA game,
Right.
and they didn't want to say anything about that because it was between gang members.
right.
So does that mean that is that a mass shooting or is that a gang war? What would we call that?
It's another form of hate. And
they hate each
let me
other.
tell you something. Jesus said in the book of Matthew, he who hates his brother is a hatred, gives you the desire to kill. Simple hatred. And if you hate enough to want to kill, you really hate yourself more than you hate the people you killed. Simple as that.
It's sad.
We just have different players and different width nowadays. That's all it is.
Right.
Yeah, I also saw the shooting in California.
It's not often.
You're going to see a lot more of it.
Asians attacking Asians, but it doesn't.
Well, but again, wasn't it Chinese against Vietnamese?
Right.
So that's
or Taiwanese.
Asian, but
he was Taiwanese, and there's a gigantic amount of tension between China and Taiwan. And we can't. If you took a Chinese person and a Taiwanese person, have them stand in front of you, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. My brother-in-law who served in Vietnam could, but you and I wouldn't. But they can. And it's vehement. They hate each other with a passion.
It's just sad that a doctor had to lose his life. I mean, that's the only one that they said died was this guy who stood in front of other people to keep them from being shot.
Yeah,
and
it's more than politics, much more. much more.
Well, in some
Well,
countries, it's a way of life.
it plays into the politics' hands to cover stuff up because right now, over those 3 shootings, they're trying to push more gun laws into play. Every time a mass shooting comes out, that's the first thing that happens.
But you know what? How many times is there a shooting like these things that happen that the person actually got those weapons legally?
Right.
Exactly.
A bunch of times.
So the bulk of the times people are getting them illegally, and all it's doing is making the people who aren't killing people making it harder for us to get guns for the things that we want to use a gun for. Whether
Right.
it's shooting a aluminum can out in, well, not in my yard because my yard's on a main street, but or even a BB gun to shoot a damn bird that's pooping on my car every day. I
Right.
wouldn't do that. I'm sorry, I would never do that. But people do it. You know.
So you're saying you literally shot the shit out of that bird?
No, I did not. I have never hurt any animal intentionally in my life.
Yeah.
Now I've hurt him intentionally a few times.
Say what?
No.
That's another show.
Right. He goes, I don't remember that. I was asleep.
Yeah, he was asleep. So, but
Yeah, no, but may I clear this? But it's true. The number one killer of humans in this country is the very thing we pay so much money for, depend on so much, and are forced to insure, and that is the automobile. Still the number one killer in this country.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
and
That's
And
going to
by
get
leaps
worse.
and bounds. You can take every
You
other
got
cause of death in
idiots
this
on
country.
phones trying to
You
drive.
can take every other
pets
cause of
and-
death in this country, group them together, multiply it by 1,000, and it still won't match what car accidents and drunk driving and all that kills in this country. You still won't touch
Right.
it.
No, it won't.
no, and that is of epidemic proportions.
Mhm.
Every single day. It maybe you could even say pandemic proportions.
Oh, yeah.
It is a global concern.
It is, because it's not just happening here, it's everywhere. I mean, I guess maybe the only place it's not happening is Antarctica or the Arctic. Well, it's happening in the
Well, and
Arctic.
thanks to open borders, we now have a record drug overdoses now too, because of fentanyl.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad Ron brought that up because that's the whole thing behind the Ukraine. That's the whole thing behind our southern border problem is the fact that the UN wants borders to simply disappear. They want to make it like Europe. In Europe, you could drive Germany into Switzerland without showing a passport.
Can't do
State
that.
to another, and that's what they want it to be like.
You need to know who's where.
Mhm.
Right.
I want somebody to know where I am. Am I in the United States or am I in Mexico? I want to know. Should something happen to me? Should I go to Mexico? I want to have my passport so Ron can go, we went into Mexico on this day and I lost her.
Yeah, but you're just talking about the ones that go through
Is that all I have
the
to do? Say I
actual
lost.
places to cross at. But look at the ones that are
That's it.
crossing across every Rio Grande place they can down there, going on these farmers' properties, destroying them, hurting the farmers, a lot
Yeah.
of times killing them. That's a whole different ballgame there.
Yeah, we have an undeclared war on the southern border. We absolutely do.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
A few
and it's
years
going to
ago-
get worse.
During Barack Obama's administration, we actually had Mexican troops and U.S. I think it was and U.S. troops on our border exchanging gunfire across the Rio Grande.
Right. Well, right now we have the cartel firing against the National Guard and the Border Patrol down there.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen reports
happening?
of that left and right. But,
Yeah.
here in just a couple of weeks, there's a mass group getting ready to come over. They're talking 18,000 a day crossing the border.
Mhm.
And they can't stop them all.
Where are they putting all these people?
I don't know.
I don't know. Ask our homeless what they've been being pushed out of.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that's a subject I keep a little close to my vest here. But under Barack Obama, the homeless population quadrupled in this country,
Yeah.
and people. This is a hidden background. Nobody will talk about it. But during this administration, the homeless population is again increasing because people are being squeezed. They simply can't afford what their standard of living anymore. So they have to keep stepping down. And before you know it, you own an RV and your lifestyle is living in a campground, living in a campground in Nebraska during the wintertime. I mean, summertime.
Yeah.
That's your lifestyle. And that's going on a mass scale. Nobody's paying attention to it.
No, they're not.
I mean, I know we're seeing a lot more.
It's expensive for, everything. I'm glad I'm glad we paid our house off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one less expense we have to worry about.
And our car's paid off. This
is a personal bitch, but sometimes it just goes like that. We paid cash for this house, not because we're wealthy, but because we're exceedingly cheap. As you know, I've been renovating it for the past 2-3 years. When we moved in here, the taxes were manageable. During COVID, 2000 to 2021, this county that I live in raised the property tax 5%. The majority of that went to the schools. The schools were closed. And so now I'm looking to get all this wrapped up and for us to move again, because quite honestly, I don't want to pay it. It's becoming almost, it'd be stupid to continue to pay the standard of living here.
Right.
That's the part that ours went
up.
Ours
went up about $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
1,000. Ouch.
Yeah.
Here.
And the thing is we voted against all the crap that they wanted to do at the schools here. So did most everybody
they
else.
Found the back door the way in to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
they had some unelected assholes run it through back door.
Mm-hmm. So needless to say,
exactly.
You know, it's not like I can say I don't have any kids in this school, so I'm not paying it.
Yeah, and as you all know, I don't have any kids. Not that we know about. I don't have any kids, so I'm still being taxed as if I do. So
right.
I'm kind of looking forward to going to one of these school board meetings to make my grievances known.
I got a feeling that they're going to say, "Which kid is yours?" And you're going to go,
"All of them."
I'm going to pick
all of them. All of them. My taxes
they all belong to me. I'm paying for every one.
That's right.
That's right.
That's it in a nutshell. I am paying for all of them.
It is.
So.
And you
by the way, if I'm paying for my local high school to do anything, win a damn football game, will you?
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, Ohio's known for some football. You would think that they'd get some players locally.
Not where Frank's at.
No, not where you're at. But.
No, not where I'm at. However, in the NFL draft, they did take a couple Ohio boys straight to the top, so that's good to see. Out of Ohio State.
Will they produce? That's a whole other issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
will they suddenly get wimpy and not be able to play?
Or with their luck, they'll probably get hit by a byway in Miami.
Well, could happen. So strange. God knows what they're going to do right after they sign that on the dotted line and got their checks.
Yeah, well, Chad. I've heard Florida's property taxes are high, but I guarantee you, we have state tax, and I bet our property taxes are still higher than yours.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now I live north
of Tampa.
And
high property
taxes
tax,
pretty good.
That's not crap. That's nothing.
We figured out that if we would have moved to either Tennessee or Florida, Florida.
Alabama.
Well, no, just these two. This was these. If we had moved to Tennessee or Alabama 3 years ago, it would have saved us over $10,000 between our home, our cars, and our employment taxes.
That's what, $50 in Tennessee? For
$25.
$25 each car.
For each car.
No matter what. Doesn't matter what year, nothing.
So here, the license.
Her cousin's got he's got a ton of them. My first thought is, how in the hell do you pay to, put tags on all these? He goes, 25, 25, 20. He said 25 a piece. And I went, oh, okay.
So he has a car museum in his backyard.
He's got, I don't know how many cars.
There was like 12.
At least 12.
And 3 motorcycles.
I pay more in property tax for our one car than he does his 12.
Mm-hmm.
My.
Yeah, it's like it's 300 and it goes down every year.
Ours is more.
Ours was $287 last
All
year.
that 3 years ago, it wasn't.
Yeah, but right now it's $287. 3 years ago it was $425.
Yeah,
for my car. So you put all this
they
stuff
only
together,
went down on her car because they got a year older.
and that's
why.
And the assumptions are that we had the same car and that we had a house that was similar in value to this house in those states.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, in Florida, it'd be a smaller house, and in Tennessee, it'd have been a bigger house.
Right.
So, but price wise,
Well, let me wrap it up in a nutshell. They were getting some headway there with Barack Hussein, who famous for saying every day the United Nations would call Barack Obama high. So they were slowly trying to turn us into Europe. So if anybody was to look at how the lifestyles are for the Europeans in the European Union, what they have to pay for things, what they pay for food, blah, 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 what they use for transportation, you'll notice that we're starting to kind of level up to them, you say.
Yeah.
We pay way less for gas here.
Level down.
Yeah.
well,
Where's Luke when we need him?
This is calculated. Biden knows
Oh, this is on
everything's
purpose.
too much. Yeah. But they're assuming that if we live with it long enough, we adapt. You see, that's what they're planning on. That's what they're hoping on.
No, we get them the hell out of there is what we do.
Now there's the problem. We have an election cycle.
$4 or $5 a gallon for gas. They really don't. They could care less because that's really what they want.
On day one that Mr. Biden got in office, he reversed the majority of everything Trump did for 4 years, everything, including our oil production. Oil production in this country accounts for about half of the goods we move and produce here. Right. And when he took away our ability to do that, everything started to go up in price. Everything.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it did instantly.
Yeah.
Which is predictable because we've seen the Democrat policies. They don't work, and we saw what they do. It's that simple. I mean,
And I say over and over again,
Republican or Democrat, it doesn't. I know what works and I know what doesn't work. Their crap, their ideas do not work. Flat out. Now, but they don't. They never have.
We're talking to somebody who voted for Schumer, okay? And I voted for Mr. Schumer because I was a New York resident in his district. And there is what is good for the country, and there is what is good for your backyard. And my backyard was Schumer's district. And despite everything you see about him, he takes care of his district. You see, you vote for what works for you. And it is plain that a lot of them are working more for the UN than they are for you. Oh, unless you guys have heard any news out of the UN in the past, 2.5 years? I haven't heard. They went quiet when Biden got into office.
No.
Because for all 4 years of Trump in office, they were bitching every day about something.
Right.
Yeah, UN is just a bunch of globalists. That's all.
They were griping because when Trump got in there, he made everybody start paying their fair share.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that hit
the
him.
United States paying all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all saw my post, I think it was on Facebook, where Biden wrote NATO a check for $1 trillion with a T. What does NATO need with $1 trillion? Huh?
For what? I mean, what are we getting in return? Oh, we're getting reamed. That's what we're getting.
Reamed,
well,
right.
We're getting all their vehicles set up in this country for a big thing to happen. Because you got UN vehicles everywhere stashed all over this country in warehouses, in parking lots. You see them every day on trucks and trains going across.
I guarantee there's some up in Atchison.
Yeah, there's a little something. I had forgotten about that, but I remember that.
I haven't seen any, but
well, it was during Trump's having the UN come in here and monitor our elections. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Just like we would go and monitor elections in other countries, they wanted the UN to come in here and monitor our elections. So they were talking about having the UN come in here at various times and monitor how we level our justice system and things like that. It is a kind of like a hidden project he spoke about that they're still kind of hoping to pull the trigger on, to having a UN come in here and just pick up managing the country.
Well, that's what's going to happen whenever they declare martial law.
Well, when they do that, that's when all the militias are going to pick up and go, the hell with this shit.
That's
Well,
right.
that's what COVID was. COVID, for lack of a better term, was law. They did everything but curfews.
Right. Just
Well,
about.
and no, they did. Think about it. They told
Mhm.
all these businesses to close early and all this other crap. Might as well have been a curfew. If there's
Right.
nowhere for you to go, I mean, here
And
we live on
right.
a main road. We live on a main road and it's busy all the time. Since COVID, after 9:00 at night, you hardly see a car.
Right.
It's mostly me
And for-
coming and going.
And for the first time in this nation's history, they were allowed to tell churches to close and not
Right.
give service, not give the
That was
sacraments, not give communion, not give rites. For the first time in our history, they were actually allowed legally to tell churches to close. That's
Right.
the big
And
one.
I tell you, I still, Carl remembers me saying this. I know he does. So does
Mhm.
Ron. When I heard that everybody had bent over and took it in March of 2020, I got instantly pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've told you guys have all heard me say this before. I work from home. I have since
I
2007.
guarantee you they wouldn't get
So it's
away
not
with
like
that
anything
again.
changed for me. It pissed me off so bad.
They won't get away with it again if they want to pull it.
Right.
They can't. They can't.
I
get away
didn't.
with
I
it.
didn't think they'd get away with it the first time.
Me
To
either.
tell you the truth,
That's
I
why I
thought,
got so
the
pissed.
people aren't going to stand for this, and then within 2 days, it's like, oh my God.
My God, they bent
What
over
happened?
and took it.
Yeah, our restaurant, we never did shut down. We never did back down from them. Any of that.
It was like I felt like we had Kevin Bacon running everything. Thank you, sir. Can I have another?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it was bad.
I still see some people wearing masks. I've asked a few of them. I said, "Are you just an idiot, or did the mask mandate come back?" And I didn't know about it.
The thing is mask
They
mandates
just
are
kinda
coming
looked at
back.
me
in some
like,
Yes,
places.
they
Oh.
are. There's some states already mandating that they go back to wearing
New
masks.
Mexico, I don't think ever got out of it
I doubt it.
because we had some woman that came into the restaurant we were in and said something about what she say. She said you heard her. Something about it was at Blake's about all of us not wearing masks in there. The reason that this pandemic's never going to end is because of you guys.
Oh, that she wasn't talking.
Well,
about
it's like
Jesus.
the big joke that went around up here. Whatever time in history could you imagine walking into a bank wearing a mask?
Right.
Jesse James rolled over in his grave so many times.
Yeah.
Like, I never got to do that.
Well,
I
yeah,
did it, but you know.
it's funny you bring that up because one of my favorite wrestlers, not just growing up, but up to recent times, is Mr. Bill Eadie. And for all you who don't know him, he's Demolition Axe.
Right.
Before he was Demolition Axe, he was known as the Masked Superstar. And he wrestled across a lot of promotions. I grew up watching him. And Bill Eadie, in order, especially if, and this is true of wrestling down in Mexico, if you're a wrestler whose gimmick is wearing a mask, you went everywhere in the mask. Everywhere. You cannot be seen out in public without the mask on. It's a part of your contract. And Bill Eadie would tell these stories about being able to go to a 7-Eleven wearing the mask. Everybody would know who he is. Nobody had a problem with him. He'd leave. Today, if he went in with a mask on, they'd probably have him arrested.
Uh-huh.
Unless it's a face
Right.
it's a paper one.
Paper one.
Exactly.
Oh,
But yeah,
or a
it's-
bandana.
It's
Can you
telling that
imagine?
story.
I
Yeah.
saw a guy was in Walmart. He's trying to get out the door. He had a few things in his cart, but it was like 92 degrees, 88% humidity, you know. And he had a winter coat on, a hoodie, and a full face mask. All I could see was his eyes.
That's illegal.
I mean, this guy was
It
stealing
should
the
be.
place blind. Anyway, they stopped him. He was, oh. I'm like, you idiot.
I just sent Cheryl
His coat
Ann a
was
message. Just tell her to plug her
packed.
phone in.
His coat was packed with stuff.
Oh man.
I hope she did plug it in, but I hope she ate that dinner she cooked first before she got back.
Right. But yeah.
Well,
But
well, anyways, what we see going on is all by design. Our government is to get us adapted to a new normal. And the ultimate goal is to make this entire world one big state, big joint market state.
Yep.
And
One world
nothing
order.
will get cheaper. And everything will be going to fund the big government.
Yep.
Well, stock up on toilet paper.
You would call
then.
big.
So stock up on
Done.
toilet paper. We're all going to need it.
Everybody's trying to stock up on baby formula that they can't find.
Right.
I haven't had a problem finding it. I'm not going to tell you where I'm not having trouble.
No, don't say where, because everybody will go buy it.
But
and then
yeah,
sell it on eBay and Amazon.
Clover, she's supposed to be getting to full-time whole milk, so we don't have too much longer to go.
Good.
So,
Well,
but the bad part
fortunately, in
is-
this country, we have people who remember what we did before baby formula came out.
Exactly.
They remembered and went back to that.
Right.
Well, the thing is
I'll give you a perfect example of that. Today, Christine was posting on Facebook on her daughter was looking for baby formula. She just put on there and said, use evaporated milk and thin it down a little bit and give it to the baby. You know, that comment got blocked and she got blocked on Facebook.
for evaporated milk.
Yes.
Do you know
For giving
I keep
a formula,
evaporated
for
milk
giving
all the
an
time.
idea to how to create baby formula.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
Well,
babies after one can have, full-fledged whole milk.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
So, needless to say, you can get it in chocolate or plain.
Right.
There you go. You got it all taken care of. And you know what? It won't hurt the adults to have some whole milk every now and then,
grew up
too.
with if you couldn't take your mother's breast milk and stuff, they gave evaporated milk watered down, or they went and got goat's milk
yep,
Goat's
goat's
milk.
milk.
and everything. Finally, that was announced on one of the fake news things about goat's milk for babies just the other day. And I'm like, you idiots, this has been going on for centuries.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing new.
Well,
you know.
like we talked about on Howard's show the other night about breastfeeding. I never bought formula for any of my kids ever. I never bought it. And so my grandchildren, 2 of them have had formula, but Leah actually had a full freezer of breast milk
Right.
for a while there. The bad part is that babies, your milk, or for women, the babies, your breast milk is what it is for that baby at that time.
Right.
So, and it changes automatically because your body knows when you had that baby and what that baby needs. So sometimes, breast milk would come out yellow.
Yeah.
Higher fat content, kind of like butter.
Right.
The baby, at some point, that baby needed that extra fat in there. Clover won't drink the old yellow breast milk.
Mm-mm.
No.
And now she's to the point where she won't take any of the old breast milk, even though it's still good. She won't take it because it doesn't. She doesn't like it on her palate now.
Right.
So
it's the same thing with Mason, the little boy that Tammy takes care of, 6 months old. He's tired of the frozen breast milk that mom has pumped out and kept and everything.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Wrong time.
Yeah. I said, get a hold of one of the goat farmers up here and get him some goat's milk. He'll be fine.
So, well,
Yeah, that's
actually,
right
start
there.
eating food.
They were talking about it on the radio. I had a bunch of people calling in. The lady said, I can't find baby formula, and I don't know what else to do. And they had other people calling in like that. And then one idiot calls in and he says, well, why don't you all breastfeed? I mean, that's pretty obvious. And one woman called back. She goes, yeah, I can't. She goes, I'm back full time. I can't pump enough. I'm not producing enough milk.
Right.
So she said, that's all I can do. And the other lady basically had the same story. And the guy goes, well, what did you do before they had baby formula? And then the host goes, okay, you idiot. What did we do before toilet paper? Why don't you do that?
Go wipe your ass with poison ivy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Why are you ragging on these poor women that, they're trying to feed their kids? And this idiot.
But breast milk is not a permanent solution.
No.
Well, we live in a day and age where we actually have TV programs about women who did not know they were pregnant until they went to the bathroom and, oh, there's a child down there.
Right.
Yeah.
So for all of those women, I have to make it clear that silicone is not an acceptable substitute for breast milk.
No. And even so, not every woman is built. I'm not saying big because I breastfed all mine. Okay. I'm just saying that, right. Built to breastfeed.
Said, I'm going to breastfeed.
I think we just got an R rating, by the way.
We went to NC-17. No
just
children under the age of 17.
Raising that. God. Holy cow.
But yeah, I mean, when it comes right down to it, not every woman. I mean, my mom tried to breastfeed me.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work. She basically starved me to death, was trying to starve me. And she tried for a good 2 months. And the doctor said, you can't do this. Mm-hmm. Luckily for me, my mom got pregnant with my sister and had to stop trying. Right. But yeah, my mom never tried to breastfeed any of us ever again because she figured it wasn't going to work.
Well, it's like I told him on Mason and everything. He's teething, got teeth already at 6.5, 7 months old. And I said, mashed potatoes and gravy's coming out real quick.
Yeah.
Cheetos. Get him some Cheetos.
That's right. It'll fill him up.
Yep. It's time to start feeding the baby some food. They should be feeding him food at 5 months.
Right. Exactly.
And so start feeding him.
She's the type of mother that don't want to let the baby grow up. And I'm like, you got to let him grow up. Get out of the bubble.
Okay. Here's what you need to tell this lady. Say, my friend's kid, they didn't want to feed him. And now he has an eating disorder. Mm-hmm. He still wants to eat baby food. And he's almost 5 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is hard as hell to get him to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I mean,
you can't even offer him anything.
And
run off.
Yeah. So
they're still
trying to torture him.
They're still trying to break Haven off breast.
Well, they're going to have to do
she's 4.
It. Well, I'm sorry, but at a certain point.
Oh, she'll come in the middle of the night.
I'm going to tell you, at a certain point, that becomes incestual.
Yes.
Not
That's
for the child.
What I said. I said, this ain't right.
The longest I breastfed one of my kids was 18 months, and she had ear infection so bad that the doctor kept saying, don't break her yet. Don't break her yet. So after she got tubes in her ears, that's when I broke her. And it was easy. It was easy. She was ready to stop. And, it gets embarrassing for other people when that happens with a 4-year-old. And if you're going to give the kid breast milk still, pump it and let him drink it out of a cup.
Right.
So that's what you did to me.
No, I didn't. So there's the solution to the problem. But I did have people tell me that I was still breastfeeding my second daughter because it was sexual. And it's like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was for her health. It was for her at that point. But after that, it's like, I'm done. I didn't want people coming to me and saying that I was abusing my child.
But what are these kids going to do? Okay, like you're young, like Clover, Ruby,
Clover's
and all
eating like
them.
a pig.
When they get older and they start having kids, we're not all going to be around to let them know what we used to do to replace this stuff.
Yeah.
That's where the issue is going to start coming in, is in the next generation.
Well, it's just like with the pandemic. Okay. If there weren't people around in the 20s when the previous pandemic happened, how would they have come up with, hey, you got to wear masks out in public?
Right. What'd you guys do before mass? We breathed.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but each generation's not getting smarter.
No.
They're getting dumber.
Oh, they're dumb.
You can say, oh, well, we're into this technology and we can work a phone and dick around with all this computer
Yeah, they can do
stuff.
that while they're sitting their ass at home, not working.
Yeah, there are no problem solving skills in the in the world right now.
There's none.
Right.
How do you solve a problem? How do you grow? How about this? How do you grow tomatoes from a seed? Everybody I'm seeing are buying plants at the store.
Right.
Hey, go to any store and buy something that costs, say, $4.24. You give them a $5 bill and 24 cents. Watch that brain go to work.
Yeah, they can't figure it
Oh
out.
my God. It's
Whenever we hit a drive-through and I want to pay exact change,
they have no clue.
Or give them like $1 over so I get a 10 back. They're stumped.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I know.
Have them count back.
They can't figure it out.
Exactly. Count back change.
Yeah, they don't know
Yeah.
to give you as 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Right.
They
I
don't
took
get
that part off of our POS system. They have to learn to count back change.
because they should be held accountable for if that drawer is over or under,
Exactly.
and it should never be more than 5 or 10 cents under
We
or
couldn't
over.
use a calculator.
Yeah,
ever.
we couldn't either. I mean, I
No,
worked
ever.
I worked at.
No, I mean
at
in school,
No,
we never
neither.
could.
I
No,
worked
at school we
Not a lot
couldn't
of
use
people in the office.
calculators, none of that stuff. Now what they send home? Calculators, computers, and everything for the kids to do all their homework on.
So, do you remember the old Skaggs drugstores here in Kansas City?
Mm-hmm.
I used to work there. And so you would have to, you didn't scan, you had to read the little label. It was, we had to price them all.
I hated those labeling guns with a passion.
Right.
Yeah.
And
You get
we
5
had
of them
to know-
off and it
Yeah,
jams.
so and then we'd have to build how much the price was into it. So the code was Charleston, C to N, 1 through 10, and that would tell us how much the item was, so that we knew what our cost was, and then we would add whatever percentage it was to it. And so we had to do all this by hand, get that on there. So when they brought up the label to ring it up, we had to put in the code, what it was, whatever Charleston was,
Right.
and the price. And like I said, and it was manual. And then we had to count back the change. The machine did not tell us what, 5 minus, $5. They gave me $5 and their change is going to be 27 cents. I had to figure out what their change was going to be based on the fact that they gave, that it was $4.73.
This I've got to give a little bit of credit to the Catholic school system, which I came up in Baltimore County, because in first grade we trained on the abacus.
Well, that's because you're older than me.
Listen, it's not like we just slid off building the pyramid and started playing with the abacus. I mean, but they thought that was the most basic way to teach, how to move numbers around and relate numbers. And to this day, you still remember how to do it on the abacus.
Mm-hmm.
Then
we had it drilled in our head.
Oh yeah, you had it drilled in, so you had a memory of it. You could somebody asked you what 6 times 6, and you go 36, and they go, "How'd you come up with that?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, by the time I got to high school, when I got elective classes, I was taking advanced algebra, calculus, trig, geometry. I mean, I liked math, so that's what I was taking classes I could get A's in.
Right.
So, but so you're talking about the abacus. What they did for us in 7th grade is they put us on a bus and took us all the way out to Hartford, out to near Loch Raven.
Mm-hmm.
There's a school out there that had a computer in it that was bigger than my bedroom, where we had to fill out the little cards and shove them all in there. And
I trained on the punch cards.
Yeah.
They took. That's where my computer career started.
I cannot believe to this day, with all the BS and what you get taught and how much it is, I can't believe that the Catholic school system trained us how to run computers on a punch card system, on a punch tapes. I cannot believe to this day I still have that knowledge.
Oh yeah,
which is obsolete, by the way, today.
Oh yeah,
right.
A lot of the stuff we learned is obsolete in certain ways, but other ways it confuses the kids.
It does.
They come home with their math now and they got to figure this, and show how they got that, and that. It ends up being 5 pages long for one problem. And that's
not even algebra.
Yeah, but that's in division.
Oh yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, I know that it's hard. So Yeah,
I've seen the
movies.
movie Space Cowboys.
Do you know that we had born today in Kansas a rare white bison
Oh,
born out
really?
in Hayes? Yep.
Good.
Is really cute. Isn't he cute?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope it's a he. It's kind of hard to tell without
it
looking
is.
under the fur.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's
Maybe one of, I don't know, in animals they have 81 types of.
sexual orientations.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Are they a transgender?
Of course, they're probably smarter than we are. They know there's male and female.
Well, I did shoot a deer 2 years ago that had both.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Well,
this much I do know. Something I found in common that the dogs have in common with horses, who have in common with cattle, is that if you get them a little too excited, each of them will try to mount you.
Oh, yeah.
Intergender, what's the word I want here? Sweetness is not restricted by species. So,
Well, it's like deer hunting. You put enough doe urine around you and everything like that, you better be in a tree stand. Yeah. It's not a pretty sight.
No, it'd be like the movie Uncle Buck. No. Planes, trains, automobiles.
Okay.
Well, a buddy of mine had one of his deer things out there, right, that looks like a deer. He poured it on the back end. I wish I could pull that video up.
And they followed him home?
Or that buck was out there mounting that plastic deer like no tomorrow.
I would have hated to have had to clean that up.
I'm sitting there, he's filming it, and I'm going, why aren't you shooting it? He goes,
Right,
I could.
Because it's too damn funny.
He says, it's too damn funny.
Yeah.
He says, I'm waiting for it to have a heart attack when it falls over. He goes, that's some
I
good
wanted to see
stuff
the
I put
after
on there,
video,
though.
where the buck is having a smoke afterwards, trying to make conversation with it.
Yeah. But the
So you come here often?
The problem I had 2 years ago was this buck I shot was with 4 does. So I'm sitting there going, okay, was he mountain shooting blanks? Because this buck was both sexes all the way through. Or was he with another buck back in there? Don't know, but that was one strange deer when I dropped it and walked up there and went, oh, we got a problem.
Maybe it's a buck that just didn't know how to say no.
I don't know. He had a good set of antlers on him, all I know.
There's probably trees of his dad he shows up.
I've seen him with both down there where you're getting them, but never from behind seen the other part that don't go with a buck. Yeah, my partner, I called him over and he looked at it and he goes, oh, this one's bad. And I said, yeah, we had to get it out of the herd real quick.
So does that make that deer a hermaphrodite?
That's what I was thinking.
Or I guess it doesn't need the other one, so it's asexual.
I mean, if he was in there with them does,
But again, can it get pregnant?
Can he get pregnant? Can he get a doe pregnant?
I would think that since it's a hybrid, it probably can't. Be my guess. So we'd have to research hermaphrodite deer to find out.
I mean, yeah.
I don't think I want to find out, to be honest.
I don't either. All I know is when I shoot them, I expect to, when I'm getting ready to clean them and everything, get them out, look down there and go, okay, 1. That's all I need to know. So
the question is how do you get a tag for that?
It's called any deer permit.
Oh, okay. I say, because if you're not allowed to shoot the does and you shoot this and it's
I could use either one because it fell into both categories. It fell into antlered deer and any deer.
Okay.
That's our permits over here. He had antlers, legal antlers, but he wasn't a buck, or a doe, either one, or he was.
So you
both.
just do half the jail time.
Right. So I tagged it as an
I can just hear you trying to tell the game warden this story.
Hey.
It had both, I swear.
I took pictures and showed it to the game warden. I'd already tagged it, and I said, "Did I tag it right?"
Yeah.
He laughed and he goes,
Eeny, meeny, miny,
"You could
moe.
have tagged it any way you wanted." And I went, "Well, it just about didn't get tagged. It was going to get hung in the barn."
I think Frank froze.
But
Yep. Frank's moving.
Oh, there he is.
Did you lose me?
No, you're still there.
no,
I was,
Chad puts in there December 2020, a rare 16-point hermaphrodite deer killed in Missouri.
Hermaphroditic.
Yeah, mine wasn't 16-point, but
I was
this
gonna
is
say, was that yours?
beautiful 8. Beautiful 8.
hermaphrodictus or hermaphrodictless?
Yeah.
Well, I know I actually had one, so
He had both.
he didn't have two of them, so he had one. So
No, he had one.
No, I wanted to check my sources because even though I quote scripture a lot and I'm well studied, I always got to go back and search something and remember, where the heck did I read that? But Jesus actually did talk about humans who are hermaphroditic, and they were referred to as eunuchs. And scripture is simplistic about medicine, especially the description of people and with the way humans are made. And anybody who does not have male genitalia is a eunuch. In other words, castrated, nothing.
Right.
And there are people coming into this world with the equipment who have it removed, either on their own volition or against their will, made into eunuchs. But they're made this way for a reason, and it's their job in life to find a way, because some actually would prefer life without it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also a method in the old Roman Empire of castration to basically have ownership over a human being. They wouldn't be able to go and operate a normal life elsewhere, and they also would not be able to reproduce.
True.
kind of like
True.
mules.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it mule or donkey that they can't reproduce?
Donkey.
Donkey.
Donkey? I think it's donkey.
Yeah, here we have a whole bunch of Z-donks.
D-donks?
Z.
Z-donks.
Yeah, they're zebra.
Zebra and a
Donkey
donkey.
mixes.
Yep.
Got a bunch of them down the road here.
So
Yeah,
my
there's
question.
some camels too. But
So if you have a donkey with really big yummies, is it called a donkey donkey?
donkey.
But donkey donk.
Donkey.
But donkey donk.
You see, I'm not young and hip. I don't know the new terminologies.
There's a song about that. The badonkey donk.
You supposed to get these big storms tonight, Carl?
Yep.
Yeah, it's getting dark here.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I heard thunder and rattling and boom, boom, boom here a little bit
It's
ago.
not boom,
Gotta be,
boom,
because the
it's
sun's still
getting
out
dark.
here. We're an hour ahead of you.
Either it's storming like crazy or my dog's tearing up the living room. One or the other.
Probably tearing the living room up.
Oh, it better not.
Something's coming in.
Yeah, we're supposed
Well,
to
somebody's
get
getting a new living room.
Carl,
I need one.
Oh, you are getting stuff.
Yeah,
you are getting stuff.
Oh, that's what all that noise was.
That's
Okay.
you up there, that little red
Yeah,
dot in the storm.
I guess it's coming down.
Yeah, it sounded crazy. It was boom, 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 boom. I'm surprised you guys didn't hear it on
Well,
the
it's
mic.
Unionville and Milan. They're getting a hell of a storm. It's all red up there.
Milan. Yeah.
So,
And by the way, the issue of genitalia is something I took a hard look at when I was writing the book about the Aberdeen wild man, because in the Sasquatch encounters, I studied over 1,000 of them to write the book, because I was looking for certain things.
Right.
I was looking for certain statements. And something I noticed missing in all of them was a mention of genitalia. For no matter how many times they were within maybe 10, 15 feet of an 8 to 12 foot tall humanoid creature like a Sasquatch. Never once did anybody mention about it having genitalia. Now, I can see there's one or two mentions out there, but they didn't come across when I was studying. And I found that suspicious because in the spirit world, there is also no genitalia.
mhm.
The spirit world is asexual. They have no method of reproduction.
They
Right.
kill more people.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
genitalia is not necessary in the spirit world. So you would not see many spirit representations or imagery that feature genitalia for any reason. It's just not a part of their being. but I found it odd how it was mistakenly left out when people cite the Sasquatch. Because, I grew up around horses too. And whenever a horse of any kind reared up, your eye just goes right down there. Oh, he's doing well. That'll drag the ground. But nothing with the Sasquatch.
Yeah,
there's been a few people that said they saw a Sasquatch with breast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard a few of them say that, but yeah, you're right. There's not. That was it.
That's what kind of made me lean towards the spirit aspect of it, because, like I said, in the spirit realm, they are asexual. So if the Sasquatch is of a humanoid form but appears also asexual, could be male, could be female.
Could it be possible that their stuff is up inside? Covered up.
Oh, everything's possible.
Covered in fur. It's hard to say, but
yeah, if a girl kicks you down there hard enough, everything you got's going to be inside too. So
yeah,
point made. But with the fur definitely could cover up a lot.
Yeah, but the thing is if you're that close, you should be able to see something.
And just like Chad said down there, everybody that's seen aliens, have they seen any genitalia?
Well, apparently some have, because some women have said that they've gotten pregnant from aliens. So somehow, some way, there is some way to reproduce for the aliens.
Right.
But what is it?
Oh, what about that flying saucer that landed in those that farmer's field? Yeah.
It's a joke that my mom used to share.
Oh, I thought that happened for real.
Yeah.
my mom had a really dirty. My mom loved sharing dirty jokes, and so
your sweet little mother did.
Yeah, my mom.
It was a good one. It was fun.
When it came right down to it, sex jokes were her favorite thing.
Okay.
So
somebody who I met, who I was really surprised loves a dirty joke, is Shirley Jones of the Partridge Family.
I could see that. She seemed to have a good
loves dirty jokes.
Yeah, like I said, she always seemed like she had a good sense of humor.
She's got the same pleasant look on her face every time I've seen her. She has the same pleasant look on her face, and right there, you can't trust her, because she could hate your ass and still be smiling at you.
Right.
Yeah, Denise does that.
I'm really good at that.
I'm pretty good at it.
People never know, but yeah, you figure she has to have a good sense of humor. She had to work with Danny Bonaducci.
No, yeah, he's a piece of work. She's married to Marty Angles. Marty Angles is a really, I don't know if you remember him from the 70s, but he was a really whack job comedian that wrote for Tonight Show and a lot of other shows. But he's just really a cuckoo. And she left him at one point. He went on TV, made some big play for her, and they're back together. I don't know where they're at now, but she's attracted comedians.
Yeah, I didn't know that she was still alive.
Who?
Yeah,
Shirley Jones.
Yeah,
Sean Cassidy's stepmother.
She's impressed. She's an impressive lady. Really, she is. She's very, very demure. Doesn't say much. Smiles a lot. She'll talk to you.
The only thing I knew about her was that Sean Cassidy and David Cassidy. That was big things. I mean, because when I grew up, Sean Cassidy was the shits there. Every girl had a poster of Sean Cassidy on her wall.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
that Parker Stevenson and Leif Garrett, or Leif Garrett, depending on where you're from. But
yeah. Dear Leif God, Garrett's look what happened to all of them.
Oh, I know. And Leif Garrett's now on America's Dumbest, whatever. It's America's Dumbest. And
World's Dumbest.
World's Dumbest. Yeah, he's on there with Tanya Harding and Danny Bonaducci and
before long, Joe Biden will be right there with him.
Stevenson's a really sweet guy.
He's already there.
Yeah, he was married to Kirstie Alley for a while. I don't know if they still are.
I don't know either. I met him a couple times. Just a really sweet guy to talk to.
Yeah. For those of you who may remember this, Sean Cassidy and Parker Stevenson actually did the Hardy Boys.
Yep.
Which is the precursor to Supernatural.
Right.
At this point.
Mm-hmm.
So. But
yeah, they're probably going to. The CW is probably going to reboot that too, just like they did the Archies, Riverdale, and a whole bunch of other things.
Nancy Drew.
Yeah, they're probably going to reboot that too and make it extremely dark.
Nancy Drew's already out there. They're on the third time through on that one.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
but
not good.
yeah, it's
The older ones were more about the mystery, and the newer ones are more about just pushing the boundaries and the relationships,
yeah,
which will
and
kill most
pushing-
shows.
Right. I mean,
Exactly.
it's like that or Dynasty. The new Dynasty looks really stupid
Right.
compared to the old one with, I like the old one. I watched every episode of the old one.
The one with JR.
Yeah, no, that
No,
was
that's
Dallas.
Dallas.
Oh, Dallas, yeah.
I did
Yeah.
watch every one of them too.
But you see, now there you go. There's a show that floated on its characters and the storylines.
Mhm.
Right.
And the backdrop was really just a backdrop. You didn't care so much about the money and the Orwells and the trappings. It was the
Right.
characters,
That's why when it all came out, who shot JR? That was the
Mhm.
biggest thing all over TVs, all over any conversations you had.
Hey, Denise,
You
do you
had to
remember where
wait.
you were when they announced it?
I was
No.
probably in my house in Kansas City, Missouri with 3 kids.
Right. I was in a nightclub on Route 40 outside of Joppatown,
Oh, shit.
dancing with a girl I know, and they the DJ Joe broke in the middle of a song and announced it because everybody was hanging on it.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that Pulaski Highway?
Right.
40? Okay.
Yeah.
There was the roller rink I used to go to was on Pulaski Highway.
Edgewood?
Yep.
Yeah, I used to go there. Starlight Arena.
Yep. That's the one
Yeah.
that I used to go to until they opened the one in Essex.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tells you how young Chad Candy is. He remembers going to a garage sale with his grandmother and seeing who shot JR coffee cups.
Oh, yeah. It was a big
Mhm.
deal back
It
then.
was a big deal, yeah.
So,
But that's when it's another reason why I like to do these celebrity events is because I used to be an actor myself, and we talk shop. We talk about everything we're talking about here, programs that are working and why, characters and things like that. Everybody's got a project they'd like to get going.
oh, yeah.
We get to talk shop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the things I miss about Dawn. Dawn and I would talk about this stuff all the time, and it's just good to connect with the people still in the profession. Some of them still. Kathy Garver is still working. She was Sissy on Family Affair, still working.
Right.
My sister had a doll that looked like Mrs. Beasley. In fact, my
Oh,
sister looked like Mrs. Beasley.
Yeah, Kathy sells those at her table.
So, but
Well,
no,
you
my-
look at the TV show out of Canada, Heartland. They're
Mhm.
in their 17th season already. That is just unbelievable nowadays
well,
that they go that long. But it's the characters in that show that make the show.
we'll talk to
Right.
April and her sister about Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
That's been going on for most of my life at this
Right.
point.
Yeah, but what there have been 23 Doctor Who's?
I have no clue. I've never watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I just finished watching Ozark. So, and who shot JR? Kristen did.
Yeah, Chris.
His wife's sister
Yep.
that he was sleeping with at one point.
Yep.
What's really bad about Dallas was the dream year, the dreams season of Bobby sleeping. The whole thing was a dream, and he went
Right.
in the shower, and so
Clever.
that was a jump the shark. That was a jump the shark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because they couldn't
Back-
stop it.
no, it was horrible. It was
Mhm.
They
horrible.
knew how to promote the shows, produce them, and create
one
them
thing
where it
further,
kept everybody on their seats.
ABC came out with Dynasty, and
Yep.
they ran into a problem because just as Dallas jumped the shark on CBS, Dynasty brought in Joan Collins and Linda Evans having their big deal going on, and they couldn't compete with it. Yeah, they couldn't
Right.
compete with it.
Well, and then Dallas had a spinoff, Knots Landing,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't as good.
Mm-hmm.
It was written okay, but it gave you. It was like it was soap operas, is what it was. It was nighttime soap operas, kind of like Mountain Monsters is. It's a nighttime soap opera. But
Hey, listen, if any of the guys on Mountain Monster start looking as good as Donna Mills did, I'd watch every time.
Donna Mills still looks good. She was her and Morgan Fairchild.
Yeah, well,
Morgan
you saw my picture on
yeah.
Facebook with Morgan Fairchild, right?
Mhm.
That woman is still just unbelievable. She's
Right.
a real looker, always been a looker.
Yeah, she was on 2.5 Men. Not that well. It's been a little while now
Right.
since 2.5 Men's been off the air, but I don't know. It's just you look at all this stuff and go, how TV has changed over the years. MASH started when I was a kid. It ended when I was an adult. I wasn't allowed to watch MASH because it came on after 9:00 at night
Mm-hmm.
on Mondays, and I had to be in bed. And on the East Coast, prime time is 8, 9, and 10, where here prime time is 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
So needless to say, it was kind of late for me at that time because I had to get up and go to school. I wasn't allowed to watch it. And so when I did get a chance to watch it, oh my goodness, I loved the sarcasm. My favorite character, I loved watching all the characters, but my favorite was always going to be Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
And then watching the way that Margaret dealt with all them in the early years, she was a wimp.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her better in the later years.
Right.
But you watch these evolve. Even the Simpsons really haven't evolved. It's still the same.
No, and they've been on 33 years.
I'll get to the Simpsons in a second, but about MASH, this is what's just really wild about it. You want to take a guess what two actors on that show?
Of course, he freezes up
the
now.
only ones, right? It's
froze
Alan Alda. Alan
Mm-hmm.
Alda actually was EMZ for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie Farr toured with Bob Hope's show in Korea. Those are the only two actors from the show, regular cast, that actually had been to Korea.
It doesn't
That's
surprise me. But I will say,
Mhm.
the saddest episode for me had to be when Henry died.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Going home, I cried like a baby.
Yeah.
And every time I watched it when he flew home, I would cry.
And they wrote it that way so that it would affect all the listeners and watchers of the show, because all of us did the same thing.
Yeah.
When Radar had to come in there and announce it.
Yeah, but when they did After MASH, that was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it died a slow death. Yes.
I mean, I like the characters, but them being stateside was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
They could not write it well enough.
Military one, Hogan's Heroes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Hogan's Heroes.
I loved Hogan's Heroes. It only lasted 2 seasons.
Couldn't do that today.
No, I mean, look how many shows there were. There was like probably
There's a
60
lot of shows you couldn't do today that they did.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Archie Bunker.
Oh my.
Sanford and Son was one of my favorites, and
Couldn't do it today.
You couldn't do it
Archie
today.
Bunker, you could not recreate his character or show nowadays at all.
But you know what? You could keep the offendedness in there of Sally Struthers and
Meathead just be
and
fine
Meathead.
For today.
It was later than that.
It'd be perfect.
It was another.
Oh, Married to Children. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can't do that one anymore.
That's one of the best.
It was later than that.
But back to The Simpsons. Simpsons is the longest scripted show in TV history, longest running cartoon in TV history, simply because not only do they have the best writing on television, but because they have this rotating troupe of writers that come in and write for them. From Saturday Night Live, from The Tonight Show, you name it. They've been keeping it fresh every single season. It's new, it's fresh and new every season. And it's timely. It's not like old tired jokes from 20 years ago. They know how to keep it rolling.
Oh yeah, and they'll do everything. They'll make a skit about what's going on in the country, the world, anything on there. Them writers do, and it never fails. It comes out at the right time. Never fails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Still
don't have to worry
clever.
about that cast getting old. They just got to find new voices every once in a while.
Hey, Barbara, was it Jag? That's the only other one I can think of.
I thought it was Hogan's Heroes.
I don't know if it was a comedy.
Mm.
Well, other
But it looks
programs
like-
that would not work today are the sci-fi programs. They're shot to hell.
Oh yeah,
You can't do Star Trek again. You
they are.
simply because we have a
They
new
are.
awareness of technology,
Yeah,
yeah, and it's going to stink.
yeah. Could you
There's just
imagine
too many
them
Star
trying-
Treks.
Well, yeah. Could you imagine them trying to do
I never got into Star Trek
Battlestar Galactica again?
Mm-hmm.
or Star Wars or any of that.
Right.
There's no way.
Take it from a sci-fi fan. Because people are so aware of the technology now, and they've seen what's
Fringe.
come and gone. It's going to be
Oh,
hard
yeah.
to put new technology past them.
Yeah, like the
Oh,
little
yeah.
flip phone that Star Trek used. You know, flip it and beam me up, Scotty. You know, we're already going. We can almost do all the things except the beam me up part.
Right.
Army Wives?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
one.
I don't remember.
And Fringe.
Right.
Well, we
Yeah, they
wouldn't-
want to redo the $6 million man. Not
Oh,
gonna
no.
Bionic Woman about 4 or 5 years ago. It sank like a rock.
Oh,
I know,
yeah.
I remember. And I
Yeah.
love Lindsay Wagner back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
So, in fact, my mom, she loved it when we wanted to watch The Bionic Woman. Of course, you know, I wonder if they came out with a new Little House on the Prairie, would people even watch it? Is that too wholesome for them
Actually,
now?
yeah, I think they would, because just like the CW, they like to take a nice old format like that and introduce new moralities into it and new storylines. You know,
Right.
more things about ethnics and the Indians and things like that. Of course, I think they would do that again. Yeah. There's more to
I
be
will
told.
tell you-
show.
That her
It'd be nice if somebody came out
Laura-
with something original.
Laura Ingalls
And a
Wilder's
remake.
house
He's right.
is haunted, though.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
was telling
now
Derek
she's
about it.
lived in several places. Which one are you talking about?
This is the
Yeah,
one
I was gonna
in Missouri.
No.
So I forget
Yep,
the
she's moved all over.
Yeah, I mean, we have the school that her sister went to, Mary, the blind
Right.
school, right over here in Olathe.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just to
and
let y'all know, I didn't start putting it yet because, you know, I don't start promotions till about a month out. But in July, early July, I'm going to be back in Burbank again to do another one of the Hollywood celebrity signing shows. And the entire remaining cast of Little House on the Prairie is going to be there,
Oh,
with the
really?
exception of Melissa Sue Anderson.
Right.
Well, she's been busy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
She's the only one that I would literally walk across the country to meet.
well, if you guys watched Ozark,
Mm-hmm.
you would have seen John Boy on there as Wendy Bird's father. He was an excellent character in there. Can you imagine? He's played a very Christian, drunk, abusive father.
Wow.
Well,
He
that would
was
be
high-
good to see
he
because
was- He was a hidden.
yeah,
he
they
was a hidden
don't
draw.
hand Richard Thomas a lot of roles where he plays a character like that. That would be good to see.
Yeah, he was in the last part of season 4 of
Mhm.
Ozark. So it was really good. I mean, I really was surprised. The worst part about Ozark for me is, let's be honest, I don't like the F word. And it was every other sentence. It was like
Right.
watching what
Well,
is
why
it?
the freaking fudge not?
Well, the thing is, it reminded me of watching Apocalypse Now. It's like
After a while.
Oh,
every,
yeah.
every other word. Yeah, it just gets old. But
Right. It
you
know,
does.
the 4 seasons that they play, I mean, there's only 4 seasons. I can highly recommend
I
it.
never saw it.
And the girl that plays Ruth, I was just really
Didn't
impressed with
sound
her.
good to me.
Yeah.
It's not it was the content and how it was written was really good.
Right.
So, but I will tell you one show I do miss though. It was on TNT. Okay, you've heard me say how much I like my sarcasm. It was The Closer. Love The
Mhm.
Closer
Mm-hmm.
and Major Crimes.
Yeah. Major Crimes. That was an excellent show.
Oh yeah, So, but the closer came first with Kira Sedgwick playing a Southern
Right.
Belle kind of
Yeah.
cop. But I
Mhm.
loved her because she would get them to admit to everything. And I would just sit there and laugh.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, you guys ever looking for something to binge watch? One of those are great.
Major crimes. Yeah, I would say
I'm a little
binge
Especially
worried
the
about.
last.
I'm
What?
sorry. Go ahead.
Well,
I was
that-
going to say I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried for paranormal TV programming because I'm not seeing anything new under the sun here.
well, if you haven't
Yeah,
watched,
I'm seeing the same formulas being kicked around again and again and again and again. Ghost Hunters is back. Whoop. But as they promote it, it's the exact same formula from the last three
It
times.
is the same format.
except
And-
Same thing.
but they're doing. Let's pull in these other people that are on the same network and have them guest investigate with us.
That's one.
Oh yeah, they had Ben. What's his name? Johnson Carson. I forgot his name. The UFO guy. Big Ben on there.
Ben Hansen
Yeah.
Ben
on
Hansen.
this last one. Yeah.
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 And that was
And-
interesting. But the thing is, I think that castle used to be called something else before they put it on the historic register. I don't know. I swear I've been there.
But in terms of what's new under the sun, I don't see anything really different and new coming up.
How
They're
about
actually-
house calls with Ghost Adventures? You call them up and you say, I have a ghost in my house. Can you save me?
Yeah. That'd be
How's
the
it-
last people
okay,
I'd
yeah,
call.
that's be the last people I'd call.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, you'll
I'd call
notice
them to
Ghost,
investigate, but I wouldn't have them there to
Ghost
clear it
Adventures.
out.
Yeah, Ghost Adventures
know
is
what
going
they're
the
doing.
way of some other shows that are really kick the can too far down the road because they're doing the repackaged material in special promotions. You know,
Yeah, I know.
alien, demonic haunts or
Well, I,
churches or that.
Right.
yeah, I told Denise, I said they're kind of running out of places to go, and I mean, some of
Right.
them they went back to, but I said they're going to start doing people's houses. Bang, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, because they did some in
Of course,
some
we'll
of the
never
other-
see it because we don't have Discovery Plus, and I'm not paying any extra for it.
I'm not paying for that. Yeah.
No, I'm not either.
I could be
Yeah,
disappointed
sure.
without
Make it
spending
free.
money.
I'm already paying for that channel.
Well, you know
And-
what? We got about 3 minutes left.
Yep.
So where can everybody find you, Frank?
Okay, my tour schedule coming up for the next month is March 27th, 28th, and 29th. I am going to be
March?
in Columbus,
May?
Ohio. Huh?
May? You said March.
Oh, I said March. I'm sorry. I meant May. Hey,
Okay.
too many blows to the head. I'm going to be in Columbus, Ohio for Fanboy Expo. We're getting Lee Majors back. You can't ignore that. A whole pile of celebrities. I'm even going to be there doing a panel or two. So come on out and hear me speak. In June, I'm going to be in Indianapolis to speak at the Indie Pop Con. Then I'll be down to Birmingham, Alabama to speak at the in Birmingham to speak at the Alabama Comic Con. Then I'll be in Memphis for the Western Nostalgia Con for 3 days. Then I'll be down to Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi for the Mississippi Comic Con. That's my month of June.
All right.
Wow, you got a lot coming up.
That's
Road trip.
Yep.
So, and guys, you can find me right here every Tuesday night at 5 p.m. If you guys have a topic you want us to cover, please send me a message and we'll figure it out.
Right.
And remember, keep coming back here on Tuesdays. So when I give you an announcement on when I'm coming back for the Paranormal Pride and where you're going to find it.
Right. And
It
check
ain't
out
where it was.
yeah. Check out the Bill of Rights Network over here on Facebook. You can find all our shows. There's a pin post at the top that lists them all down and everything. Right after this show, here in 30 minutes, you'll have the Conservative View with Tina, Sally, and Barbara on there. So stay tuned to that. Also check out Things Network over there, all their shows, and our new network that we're with is the Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment.
That's easy to pronounce.
Yeah, that's easier than the other one.
Yeah, Prometheus.
Yeah. So check us
Hi.
out.
Good night, April.
Yeah.
Night,
Good night.
April.
Thanks everybody in the chat room for joining us. Come back every Tuesday. We're here from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time. So we will see you next Tuesday. Everybody have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
All right.